Hi guys, season 2 of How To with the Caribbean Gaffer, powered by 13 Degrees North Rentals. And today joining me is Kwame Lestrade, director, writer, producer, DP.
Hi, my name's Kwame Lestrade. I'm a photographer.
Kwame, moving from England to Barbados, how has that journey been?
We came here during COVID, not being completely clear on what it is we'd be able to do. We were both working remotely in the UK. I was really interested in just understanding what was going on creatively here, both in terms of film and all of the creative arts. So very quickly, I embarked upon a project that would enable me to just discover the talent that was present on this island.
Yeah.
With that mission in mind, right? You know, it's I find it very hard to believe that the talent isn't there, both in front of and behind the camera. But I had faith it was there, and very quickly I learned, of course it's there.
Of course
it's just that you need to tap into the right veins of activity. And suddenly all of the doors of talent and opportunity opened up. So coming here in that respect was really exciting, and the things I've discovered since and the talent that the projects we worked on exposed to me was, it continues to impress me.
The project that you have just made mention to, do you want to talk a little bit about that project?
The process from pre-production through to post-production was humbling, it was joyful, it was, you know, how some projects you connect with people in a way that's meaningful beyond the project. And I find that a lot of the sets that I work on or control have that type of culture in which yes, there is hierarchy and there are distinct departments and there are things structurally that must be in place and observed. Yeah. But once those things are done well, it then allows you to relax and be yourself, because there's no insecurity or uncertainty about what people should be doing and where and when, etc.
Correct. Yep.
You know, the idea of seeking to improve the industry is a lofty ambition for me.
Right.
You know, what I seek to do is create good work and improve myself, and hopefully be a positive influence on people around me, and absorb positive influences from those people.
Right.
There are many people who are actively invested in improving the industry for the industry's sake. People rooted in the region, people who have put in the work here and who consistently seek to develop talent. So I feel sort of privileged to have been a part of a project that has helped to improve the industry. But that work stands very much on the shoulders of people who have been rooted here, who have been doing this work for a long time. It's very, very interesting, the parallels in the creative sector. I will add here that in the UK, it's not just being in the creative sector, it's being black in the creative sector.
That's a different dynamic,
which is a dynamic that is improving, it's demonstrably improving, and it's important to acknowledge that. However, as a creative in the UK, the experience of people in my ilk of profession or development within the industry is one that we've grown into understanding that the spaces for us and our stories and our voices are small.
Right.
And the gatekeepers to expressing our voices of African origin in whatever shape they take, those spaces are controlled by gatekeepers that actually struggle to engage with the richness of what people from the African diaspora bring to the sector.
Right.
So that barrier, it's actually a huge sigh of relief to come to a place where, of the barriers that exist, that one is smaller. It doesn't mean that the work is any easier. You still have to do the work. But what's really beautiful is that you're not pushing water uphill
right.
in quite the same way.
Correct.
And the expectation of your project being niche or very, organized for a very small audience, or an audience that executive producers can't see or believe in, that's one of the problems that was diminished here.
So your experience here working in Barbados with the crew and the cast, if you could dive a little bit deeper into that and the support that you got or that you continue to get from Barbados, what is that like?
One of the smartest things I did was research, as you should, as a producer.
As you should.
And I was able to very quickly get a sense of not just the landscape, but where you find the players within that landscape.
Right.
And the challenge was that that they're not visible in the way that I was expecting them to be visible.
Right.
I'm looking on platforms like LinkedIn and Mandy and social media too, Instagram, Facebook, and those spaces. And it just wasn't clear. What do you do? I need a first AD. Where do I find you? I need actors. Where do I find you?
Right. People looking at the creative space as a full-time source of employment doesn't really happen in Barbados. You're not going to find an actor who's a full-time actor. That actor might be a teacher or a doctor or an accountant. And might think that they can only come out and act on weekends.
I find that that's a universal phenomenon, though, across the globe, because generally you have circumstances in which the creative industries are constantly fighting to be even recognized as a viable choice in life, as a viable profession to pursue across the creative sector, in front of and behind the camera. So rightly, you have actors who sing and dance, or poets who occasionally have done this, that, or the other project. Similarly, behind the camera, you have photographers who become videographers, who edit, who mix, who produce, who write. And one of the universal challenges I feel is which hat to wear.
Which hat to wear,
right?
Correct.
Because if you're speaking to somebody that wants a videographer, but you're wearing your editor hat or your sound person hat, you need to make sure that they know you have another hat too. And so you create these split personalities, and they're born of an insecurity of not wanting to lose out on work. Particularly in a sector that you're dealing with. So I kind of attribute that desire to just grab a bunch of different skills to the digital revolution, because you can, and it's accessible. You buy one computer and you can do a multitude of things.
So are you saying that the digital revolution was not good?
I think the digital revolution was fantastic. What it gave us is a peak, right? The digital revolution enabled us to gain more and more and more and more skills. Once you have these skills, you're now conversant in a multitude of different departments, if we're using film language. I can talk to people about lenses, about settings, about composition, about color, about light. The process afterwards becomes which ones of those you put down. I'm now not going to hold a camera. And I wish I was mature enough to be viewing it let me just empower other people. Actually, it's let me do better work. And with more collaborators and more people who are across their departments, I can forget about it and do better work, focusing on directing talent.
With all that said, how do we find you?
You find me at on LinkedIn as Kwame Lestrade.
Right.
As on Instagram, Kwame Lestrade. If you type in Kwame Lestrade,
we will find you.
That's about it.
Be sure to follow this channel, 13 Degrees North Productions and 13 Degrees North Rentals, or you can find me at the Caribbean Gaffer on Instagram, and 13 Degrees North is on all social media platforms, including LinkedIn. Thank you for watching, and this has been another episode of How To with the Caribbean Gaffer.